What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So my name is Shanquis. So today I decided to give you guys two story times. So if you have not already watched, I currently did a story time on being pregnant at the age of 13 and having my first child when I was 14 years old. But this time I am going to do a story time over my experience of being in foster care. And honestly, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe below. So, as I was explaining in the story time about me having my child when I was 13 years old. So, once I turned 14, I had my first child. And at the time, when I was 12 years old, my mom, me and her, we were at home one day. And she was dating this guy, and he had heard, I guess, around town or whatever, that he felt that she was cheating or whatever. So he ended up shooting my mom. And I was there with her. I was able to get to someone to get the police called, and it was a traumatizing experience, not only for myself but for my mom as well. And so once after that happened, my mom, she really just started drinking really bad, like, and I guess it was just her way of dealing with the situation. And me, I just, my mom is lost, so I'm just out here and I'm just doing stuff. So um I had my baby when I was 14 years old. And so once I had my child, what I did was I ended up dropping out of school, at 14 years old. And of course, it's truancy law, so you can't just technically drop out of school. So then at that time, um, DHR started coming out to the house and stuff. They were just trying to figure out what was going on. And it was just a lot going on in our household. So I had went and stayed with a friend. And my little sister, she went and stayed with a friend. And my brother, he was in Florida with our grandma. And so, time goes on, it passes. And at this time, my child is like 8 months old. So I just get a phone call out of the blue. My sister, she was like, um, I'm up here at the school. Well, actually, the worker got on the phone, and the worker was like, "We're up here at the school. We came to get your sister. We already got her, and we're trying to figure out where you are, so that way we can come and pick you up too. And we're gonna take you guys to a home." They're explaining this stuff to me on the phone, and in my mind, like in that moment, I started crying, and I'm just like, oh my God, because at this point, even though I had dropped out of school and everything, I had been, in contact with the school and stuff like that, trying to get back in school and just trying to get on the right track. And so when that happened, it just really turned my world upside down. So they kept calling and calling and calling, because at first, honestly, I was not about to go. But then they were talking about calling the police and having the police come and doing all this other stuff. And so I just felt, okay, they already got my little sister, so I'm going to just go. So I called my auntie. My auntie came over to the house, and, I told her what was going on, and we all were crying and all that type of stuff like that. So I ended up going up to the DHR, the local DFACS, people call it DFACS. And so we go up there, and they tell us, oh, it's only temporarily. We're going to go to court in like 2 days. And if your mom shows up and everything is good, blah, 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 you guys will get to go home. Well, 2 days turned into, I turned 21, basically. My first foster home, it was fun. Like, it was good because I felt like it was a nicer place and stuff like that. But what happened was, I just was really ratchet. I was very ratchet back then. And once again, in my head, I had already been, doing certain things and living a certain lifestyle, so I kind of just felt grown. But it was a hard experience. You still trying to deal with it. And then at the time too, we were going through the phase of I was going through a phase where I was really angry with my mom and stuff because I just couldn't understand like why she couldn't just get herself together or get her stuff together. Like, your children are in foster care. We living with different people. And at this time me and my sister we still were together in our first home. But things had just gotten so crazy, so along the line, they ended up separating us. And so when they separated us, my sister went somewhere else. I went to another home, and it was just a constant battle the whole time for years because, I wanted to keep a close relationship with my sister. I was wondering what she was going through, what was on her mind, and also me being where I was and still trying to fathom having a child and living with different people, and it's never the same. Like, it's never the same. And you wonder so long, is you feel that how you have those family members that you always feel like they had a little bit of money or they always live nice. In your mind, you kind of just wonder like where are they when all this is going on. I wonder like where was my mom? Like where was her mind? And like where were the people mind that was around her that saw what was going on? It was just a very hard thing. Like it was just very depressing. And on top of that, like I was young and I had this child and I really just did not know how to really to be a mother with him to him. And so time goes by. They moved me around, and I had decided to go to the army. I went to the army. It was just not for me. Like it was just not for me. Like I just did not want to give up my whole life. Like I did not want to go times without seeing my child for so long of a period. Like I just did not want to go through that experience. So I ended up getting out of the military, coming back. This is when I was 18 years old. And fast forward, I did ended up graduating high school, which was really good. I was really proud of myself. I was like one of the first in my family to graduate from high school, so that was a big accomplishment for me. So fast forward or whatever, get out of high school, go to the military. So I ended up coming back home. So when I came back home, somehow they still allowed me to stay in foster care. So, I stayed in foster care for some time. They ended up bringing my sister, because at this point we're a little bit older. They ended up bringing my sister to the home that I was in. So we stayed together for a little while. So then our foster mom at the time was getting ready to move out of town. So we had an auntie. And so they were like, okay, at this point, my auntie done stepped up, trying to help, trying to get us. And so my aunt, she goes and she tries to get us, and they end up letting us go there. Go to my auntie house. I don't know, like, I kind of know, but I kind of don't know, because a lot of times I feel like in your family, bad communication causes a lot of family problems. Bad communication causes period problems, period. But a lot of times family members just, sometimes we don't see eye to eye. We still love each other, but we don't see eye to eye. My aunt, you know, she got, I don't know if she was mad at me or what, because at that point I felt like if I was going to be with my aunt, I'm about to just try to get out on my own and stuff like that. So, I reunited back with my mom, because at this point I'm older. Like, she was still having a very bad problem with her drinking, and she was still struggling with it, but I was older, so it was easier for me to accept that, she had a problem, but at the same time, I wanted to still love her because she was my mom. So I went and spent a couple days with her because I'm like, hey, I'm at my auntie house and all this stuff like that. So I go to my auntie house, and a couple days pass, and you know, the DHR people called me and they're like, hey, because there was a court order that we were only supposed to see our mom during supervised visits. But I'm like, hey, I'm 18, this is my mom. Like, come on now, if I make the decision at this point. But because there was still paperwork and the paperwork was not finalized that we were out of care and technically with my auntie, even though they had allowed us to go stay with her already, we were still in care, so the paperwork was still in place. So they were like, hey, well, since you're 18, if you want to, you can stay. But because you did this, you have to bring your child back and we're going to place him in another home and stuff like that. And it was so devastating. Like, being that I was in a situation where I really just could not do nothing. And honestly, I thought about just hopping on the bus and just skipping town, but I was broke, didn't have no money, and I just felt like it wouldn't have been the right decision then. So, what I did was I went up there. They moved me out of town because I begged and pleaded and asked them whatever they wanted me to do to get my child back, I would. So, I went on. They moved me, and at this point, I found out I was pregnant with my second child. So now I got 2 kids, and I'm still in foster care. So I did everything I had to do, and they had introduced me to this program called the Independent Living Program, where they had placed me in my own apartment, and they paid all my bills and everything. The only thing I had to do was work, and they were supposed to teach me how to budget and stuff like that, but unfortunately, I did not learn how to do any of that. So I was just lavishing off the point that I was living, you know in my own place and stuff for 2 whole years doing what I wanted to do. I mean, I felt like I was living the life. And, you know, fast forward, them 2 years, I did not do right. I wasted a lot of money. I look back on it and, I don't really just dwell on it, but now that I'm older and I look back on that situation, I should have done so different. I would be in a whole different place right now, completely different. So, but the guidance just wasn't there. The help was there, but it wasn't, they weren't doing the things that they wanted to do. For a long time, I wanted to be a social worker because I wanted to help, because I felt like foster children voices should matter. Like, if you're in foster care, it's already a bad experience, to just mentally, because you're going to meet some good parents, but all parents are not good. I met some kids that really went through some stuff, not only with their families, but with the foster parents as well, because I feel like DHR, their workers don't really just pay attention to the things that they're supposed to. They're not on top of everything. They don't really know what be going on inside of these homes, and it's just already bad. And I just wish it was just so much more that I could personally do, which I plan to do, but all this stuff is in the working. But my experience in foster care, thank God I didn't have any parent that was necessarily just beating on me, or, was just mean to me, or just really did me or my children wrong. It really was an experience that once I got older, I kind of just took advantage of it, and I still am reaping some benefits from being in foster care, but it created a crutch for myself. I created a crutch. Like, I got so used to people feeling bad that I was in foster care, and I got so used to people feeling bad and wanting people to feel bad for me, and like, I took it over into my adulthood, and it looks ugly as an adult, looking for people to feel sympathy for you or to feel bad for you because of what you're going through or what you have been going through, because everybody goes through something. But it was a experience. I feel like God allows us all to go through certain things for a reason, and so I always look at it as a positive thing, even though emotionally I felt so negative about it for so long. Now that I could look back on it, it was a life changing experience for me. And so anybody out there that's in foster care, or you know somebody that's in foster care, sometimes sometimes it's just be mindful, because you never really know. And especially in those situations like that, the level of stuff stacks up on how you feel. Because it's not like, yeah, you got the state taking care of you, but the state is broke. So they really just don't do, they're limited to the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be an advocate for other foster children out there and be that voice that says that, let's do better about these homes, about these parents. Let's do better about these social workers. Like, let's do better, because I just wish that I had some good social workers, but I wish I would have had some great social workers that understood me, understood how I was taking the situation. A lot of people don't put themselves in your shoes to understand how you feel, and they don't, and unless you can truly do that, you can't really just push. So, anybody that's out there, I would love to be an advocate. I would love to come speak to the youth, speak to other kids that are in foster care, speak to them to let them know that no matter what you're going through, no matter what happens in your lifetime, this experience alone, when you become an adult, you have to look at it, you have to take it for what it is, and you have to use that and push that and encourage other people that's in this situation. Encourage other folks and let them know that it's other people out there. Don't be ashamed that you're in foster care. I used to feel so ashamed, especially when I had a foster parent that would say, oh, this is my foster child, this is my foster child. I would feel so ashamed. Do not feel ashamed. Embrace this opportunity. Embrace it for what it is. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. You're stuck in it. You know what I'm saying? What you can do is how you choose to use it. Use your voice. Use your voice, okay? But overall, like I said, everybody don't have great experiences, and it's not easy for everybody. And if anybody that's out there, if this video goes out there, and anybody else out there that's going through this situation, if you ever need anybody to talk to, I am here. Feel free to comment. If you don't want to comment, I will leave my email in the description. Feel free to email me. If you know any foster care places or any youth that needs an uplifting or encouraging word, let me know. Feel free to send me an email. But I hope that you guys enjoy listening to my story. You have a great day. And if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe below if you would like to see more videos from me and more story times. Thank you.